We're live. Hello, everybody. Guess we'll start off with a couple of notes. Hello, RK. Yes, you are first. A lot of people asking about. I'm gonna be a little harsh here at the start. I'm gonna be a little harsh here at the start. So, a lot of people are asking about the earthquake in Syria, Turkey, and I saw a lot of people get it a couple of days ago, about 4 days ago, when I mentioned the coronal hole on the north. Tons of you were talking about, earthquakes are coming, earthquakes are coming. My hat's off to you guys. For everyone who still wants me to hold their hand, no. When I talk about the coronal holes on the sun, when there's one directly facing Earth and I point it out, you should know that means that there are earthquakes coming. Yeah, every once in a while I'll go back to it and I'll review the science, but it's not going to be an everyday thing. It's not going to be something where I'm going to be holding your hand like a little kindergartner anymore. Catch up with the books, catch up with the playlists, catch the special videos when they come out. Otherwise, it's a privilege of being a veteran observer who's done their homework. You get to know what's going on. Other things for those crybabies who are upset that I'm not answering every single question down the list here in the chat. I don't think you could even imagine how impossible that would be. There's a reason why every, and I do mean every channel, even much smaller than mine. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you. There's a reason why every channel who does live shows like this, including those that are way, way smaller than mine, can only focus on the super chats, is because there's no other way to do it. There's simply no other way to do it. To the vast majority of you, thank you for your support. You guys are awesome. You guys are really awesome. And to the crybabies, sorry, you'll just have to deal with my giving 95% of my stuff away for free on YouTube all the time. You don't have to pay for it. And I feel for you. Oh, let's address some more crybabies talking about the fact that at this one stage, we are only talking to or entertaining the accredited investors for Observer Ranch. After being open to all callers for 2 years. And in the future, there will be opportunities for other things as well. During this short little time window here, we have to focus on what we need to focus on at the time being. Kind of like right now, the sun has had, for those of you who have the app and have updated the app, getting a lot of solar flares. You guys might not notice that, or maybe you have noticed if you have the app. The Infinity Rose, thank you. The Infinity Rose, you just being here and you being aware is more than enough of a gift. I appreciate that. You not being too negative and complaining too much. The only one allowed to be negative on here is me when I'm making fun of the crybabies or people who don't watch the playlist. Yeah. I guess the theme of my opening diatribe is I'm not sorry. I'm not going to be holding your hand through, this happened to the sun. What does that mean for Earth? What does it mean here and here and here and here? Not going to be holding your hand through what causes earthquakes. Hi, Christine Paring. Good to see you. Hi, Angry Jacks. Good to see you too. I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah. So no, I won't be hand holding. Big congratulations to everybody 4 or 5 days ago when I straight up showed and talked about the corona hole in the morning news, were commenting, or even if you didn't comment, if you just knew, that meant, big earthquakes are coming. Kudos to you. Kudos. Ragtag dirtbag. Hello, man. So kudos to you guys who I don't have to hold your hand. Kudos to my son who's giving Kat a run for her money down there. For real. And to the crybabies, I don't know. Put your address in here so I know where to send the cheese to go with that whining. I'm sorry, what was that? Somebody is 7 White Claws in at the start of the live stream. It's a lot of White Claws, man. It's a lot of White Claws to be starting the live stream like that. Let me reiterate, thank you to all the other observers who are not crybabies, who literally wake up every day realizing that there's nobody else in the world who woke up that day thinking, how can I make this person's life as good as possible today? Kudos to every one of you who woke up like that this morning. The family's all right, buddy. Thank you for asking. This has got to be the most emojis I have ever seen in the chat section. Great googly moogly. Yeah, Ricardo, real SOs just get on with it. Mr. Stolen, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm dying with all these emojis in the chat here. J Devil, Earth's core, please, question mark. That's not a question. That's not even an English sentence. Not that I see about an earthquake anyway. So I guess I shall reiterate. Gothy Mom, nice name, and thank you. I appreciate that. So I guess I'll just reiterate because that felt good. That was fun. When I talk about the corona holes on the sun, you should know that means big quakes are coming. Again, kudos to everybody who was making comments like that. ET, okay. ET just paid me $2 to say too much negativity. I'll check in with you later. Anybody catching the irony there? It's exactly what I was talking about. I know, Canadian knife maker, don't they? Much more than my mouth does, which is like, how is that even possible? All right, I guess I'm not going to reiterate everything because people are starting to ask questions. I referred several people to your channel this afternoon. These people will take time to watch the playlist. They are nurses that work 60 to 80 hours a week at my veterans nursing home where my husband resides. They would do well to watch the stuff about how solar activity and cosmic rays affect patients of all sorts. Ralph is here. Hello, Ralph. Sorry I missed you the other day. Was at work. You are more than excused. Broke down and got another phone just so I can get the app. I should be expecting my order tomorrow. Power went out during that nice -40. Booked a call. Right on. Right on. Man, I got to tell you, it's so much fun having calls with you guys. It really is. I love these one-on-one calls between me and the observers. They're fantastic. I don't think I have the link down there for that, but it's in the daily news videos. You can also find it at suspiciousobservers.org. Monique, I will waste time on stuff like that because it makes me feel better. And because it needs to be said. Any observer who's not of that mindset, any snowflakes here, need to melt right away. Right away. As the sun and the earth aren't going to take any mercy. Glenn Donaldson, thank you very much. The Infinity Rose, okay then, Ben, I'll bring it to San Jose and hand it to you personally. That's the way to do it. But I hope you're a hugger. I'm a hugger. Ben's a hugger. Ben hugs observers. You're giving my loved ones an opportunity to survive the event, and we will. That's the attitude right there. Thanks could never convey the gratitude from my family and I. All right. Infinity Rose, just, it's awesome. It's all right, ET. It's all good. Appreciate it. I think I may start these. I mean, these Q&As are, it's going to roll into the question answering here momentarily. It's just that for the first couple of minutes, there's only so much that can be done. There's the teal pair. Now I'm happy. Now we can truly begin. Have I talked to Bear Independent yet? Thank you for all you do. So I couldn't find his email. Luckily, I talked to one of his family members, and they're going to get us squared away. So yeah, I'll talk to Bear Independent. Absolutely. No doubt about it. No questions flying in now. Do I think the New World Order will be able to stockpile enough primary resources to generate electricity for themselves, or am I way out of left field? How long will it be before we get electricity back? That's a tough one. They might not be able to do it at all. Might be 12,000 years before we get electricity back. That's a big question. We just don't know which parts of the world are going to be hit or spared more than others. We don't know how bad the induced current's going to be in any given place. It's a great question. Lori, love your question. But that's just a big question mark in this upcoming event for sure. Learn to live and love the 1800s. Plant a tree. I like that, Shady Tree. I'm going to move my laptop for a moment. I'm sick of being hunched over. Much better. The rabbit hole says, Ben, you said plastic will protect. And then I scrolled. Plastic will protect things we care about from the disaster. So I bought plastic underwear, sealed plastic tub for the cat. First part's funny. The second one is don't do too long of a trial run with the cat in the sealed plastic tub. Jimmy Joe says, love your work. Now I just need to find a workable plan to get to the new Valley of the Sun and convince my daughter to do the same. Convincing family members about this stuff. Isn't that just a challenge we're all on? Kevin, thank you very much. Mishka, caught another live. Glad you did. Speaking of family members and stuff like that, my dad understands everything about solar risk to our way of life. He knows climate science is nonsense, doesn't believe in dark matter, but when it comes to the catastrophe, it's like some kind of mental block. And he's like, no, I will not see this. Talking to family members is ridiculously challenging. Nathaniel, that has got to be the coolest teal pair gif I've ever seen. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your work, says Randy. It's good to keep an open mind to all information. Be prepared, not scared. Yes. Ready for anything here in SoCal. Okay, maybe you should be scared in SoCal, but we'll save that story for another day. Got a bug out bag and a plan, not living in fear. Well, when you live in SoCal, it's a good idea to have a bug out bag and a plan. Hello again, Kevin. Thank you again. Jersey Outlaw. Hello, Ben. Hoping you came across the meme I sent end of last week to the info at Observer Ranch because I know I didn't know where else to send it. It's you saying, I did see the meme you made of me saying, oh, crap. Yeah, I thought about it after I ended that video that me saying, nobody make a meme out of me saying, oh, crap, would probably cause somebody to make a meme. And yeah, a couple people did. It was very funny. I laughed. I ran across grounding, earthing this week. Yes. Reminded me of much of what you have shared. Yes, everybody should be grounding or earthing, however you want to call it. Just take your shoes off, take your socks off, and just go stick them in the grass. Absolutely. Martin Sanders. I'm not biting on your style, Ben. Just got my Noah was shirt. Did you really? Gonna rock it at the next big event I go to. I'm pretty sure my friends and family think I'm crazy. It's okay. They thought Noah was crazy too. And I'm glad you found that shirt because that's awesome. Ragtag, hello again. Love the live streams. Feel like a little kid when Saturday morning cartoons came on. Oh, I remember that. I also remember it being abruptly cut short whenever college football would begin and my dad came and turned on whatever. Of course, I got to an age when I liked that part of the day, but not when I was 5. Rabbit Hole says, Ben, I noticed the disaster playlist you didn't include cow farts and SUVs as the leading cause of disaster. Also, mammoth donkey farts. We're 15 minutes into the show, Rabbit Hole. You're starting the jokes already. You could find those things, sans the mammoth donkey farts, in the climate playlist, though. Probably not the disaster playlist. And just because I happen to see it, yes, Pueblo will be okay. A little too many people for my liking, but it's not going to be drowned anyway. Jumping Ellie Beans, thank you for the teal pair. Love the teal pair. Right back at you, teal pair. I'm going to take a moment to check in on the sun here. So we've had several solar flares today. It's going to be a fun morning tomorrow. If everybody follows my Twitter, I posted the CME from one of them. It's a beast. Came off the eastern limb. And we've had 4 M-class solar flares today. Doesn't look like we have a whole lot coming at us. But the sun is waking up. The sun is waking up. Every day that ticks off in February, we're going to get closer to that 5.9 month. That's a number. 5.9 month cycle peak. Yeah, I mean, I could start as early as the middle of February, and the sun certainly looks like it's gearing back up right now. So there we go. Thank you for keeping us informed. Me and my dad love your stuff. Love the multi-generational observers. We would watch your videos each morning after we grab some Chick-fil-A. Ha! That's awesome. I like Chick-fil-A, and I like the things that they stand for. Yes, Rebecca. Gotta have loads more than a bug out bag. That's for sure. But no hair dye. Please. Leave that out of the bug out bag. Every bug out bag is complete before you put the hair dye in. These are facts. Yes, Ragtag, you and Rabbit Hole should hang out. Absolutely. You two would get along very well. Yes, I need to be on Joe Rogan. I also need $1 billion. I can list the things I need in one hand and do something in the other. But we all know which one will fill up first. Thomas Holland, I sure hope not. Well, just a little X wouldn't be so bad, but I'm hoping we don't get an X100. We could use some more time. Prepare a little more. Just sending this to dunk on the crybabies. Yes, Dirk, dunk on those crybabies. There's no room for them in the next age of Earth. What about Penrose, Florence area in Colorado? Well, Penrose is where Observer Ranch is. I do somewhat favor that area of the world. Florence isn't terrible, provided you're not in the part of Florence that's the lowest area of the valley right by the river, because there will be flooding. Bomberry, thank you. Ben watched a long, long time, sees some things differently about how it unfolds, but you and I are moving towards the same direction. Survive and rebuild. Thanks for the effort. Tip of the hat to you, my friend. Respect. Beatrix, thank you for the teal pair. I will thank literally everybody for a teal pair. I love the teal pair. Somebody's texting me. Who are you? Oh, you will wait. You will wait. I'm busy. Owl Woman, thank you. Good to see you. Denise, just wanted to say thank you. My question is, you felt off, kind of heavy today. Would any of these not directed at Earth flares be causing this? So the flares are Earth directed. It's just that the CMEs are not. If we detect the flare, those X-rays came to Earth. That's the light element. It's just that whether that's directly facing us or over on one of the limbs, that light goes out in all directions. But the CME tends to only go out in one direction. The CMEs have not been Earth directed, but Earth has been getting pounded with flares today. Granted, they are still in the M class range. One did hit like M6 or M7. So not exactly a small flare, but it was impulsive. But we have been getting a lot of flaring, and that can have an effect on things like that. So not surprised to hear that at all. St. Mitchell, hope you are well, buddy. Right back at you. Mark Mack. Ben, how do I deal with the skeptic friend who says the ESA swarm data about 5% per decade was referring to the South Atlantic anomaly and not the Earth's magnetic field as a whole? He says this is all normal. Show him the actual document that isn't talking about 5% per decade in the South Atlantic anomaly. Show him the part where it's about the actual whole magnetic field, and this is not at all normal. Other than that, you're just going to be spitting words back and forth. You serve, he volleys, and go back and forth like that all day. That's why it's important to show the links. That's why it's important to show the actual data and the studies and other things like that. Grand Solar Minimum, Crazy Canuck. Is there anything you could think of that happened late 2016, early 2017 that would cause the energy levels in organic and conventional farmland to flip? I don't exactly know what that means. And there was definitely an acceleration in the magnetic field shift over the Pacific sector in 2017. In September of 2017, there was also pretty significant solar activity. But in terms of, I don't even know what that means. The energy levels in organic and conventional farmland to flip. Oh, but that's interesting. Now you've got my brain going. You've got my brain going, buddy. Shady Tree, thank you for the teal pair. Love it. Busy watching the playlist. Again, no questions. Right on, sir. Tip of the hat to you. I scrolled too far. Hello again, Ralph. So this is the 5.3-month wake up with the sun. Going to be like this through the cycle, or will at one point stay fully awake? We even could see a little bit of the up and down during the last sunspot cycle and in previous sunspot cycles. Of course, this is all relative compared to, say, a sunspot minimum. But yeah, I think that the sun's going to be active for a couple of weeks here. And every single one of these 5.9-month cycle peaks, it's not going to go back down to where it was before, at least until this sunspot maximum is over. So things are escalating. And Ralph, it is good to see you. Ralph, are there any salt deposits in Colorado? Salt is important for food preservation. Yes, it is also very easy to store salt and get salt from other things. You're just east of me in Pagosa Springs. I think that would be west of me. Is it safe? Started to follow by a gut feeling. You are right on. Pagosa could be okay. When things start to get really wonky, I wouldn't sit there looking at the mother spring, like standing right over it like that, because I think it's going to be very springy, if I can put it that way. But yeah, Pagosa should do okay. I can't wait to get back out there. I love those hot springs. I really do. Denise, thank you very much. I'm building a dune buggy with the air starter idea you introduced to me. Can't afford land in the new Valley of the Sun, but I'll find a slice somewhere to colonize. That is the mental attitude, Red. Just that mental attitude gives you a lot of a advantage over most people. I'm a single female with a good team of pack horses, and I'm just east of you in Pagosa Springs. After the flip, should I stay put here? Oh, you're back again. First of all, I'm going to reiterate, I think you're a little west of me if you're in Pagosa. But yeah, single females are always in high demand, especially if they're observers. Always. Pack up those horses and ride to Observer Ranch. Now he's married. Why is he saying shit like that? Because I'm not going to be the only one there. Can I super chat on my laptop? Apparently so. Amy, thank you very much. Or am I still wearing the pendant thinking of getting one? I wear the pendant every single day. Every single day. I don't wear it at the gym, and I don't often wear it when I'm just sort of relaxing or lounging around the house. I notice it has the largest effect when I am out around other people. The one I have, it is especially protective of your own field and not letting it interact with other people's too much. So at home, it really is not as important that I wear it. And I'm going to be showering after this, and I don't like putting that pendant on something that is not super clean. You're going to have to excuse me for just 1 minute because I can tell my kids are like this far outside the door. Hold on. Yo. Guys, be quiet. Now, get away from the stairs, please. Maniacs. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. You rock. You keep it up. You're a towel. Sorry, I meant west. Long day. How will I find Observer Ranch if I ride from Pagosa? 1, you don't need to apologize. You're a single female. 2, it's in Penrose, Colorado. So maybe chart that out on a map. You'll know you found it when you find some of the only living people left after this disaster. Hey, Ben. Oh, it's the rabbit hole. I have to mentally prepare to read this comment. How soon after the disaster will you go around with weapons to other communities saying, I am Davidson, I take half, I decide what's half? It's an excellent question. I'm going to have to think about that. You and Ragtag Dirtbag really should hang out. Oh, speaking of which, the Caravan, we should breed your horses with my mammoth donkeys and make mammoth mules. Caravan, what have you got yourself into here? I want to know if I could hold a suspicious observers event to try and gather us all together and bring more people on board to survive. Yeah. It may go better if we coordinate about that. But you are a free person. You can try whatever you want. Be happy to help if it's something that's possible. The chat moves pretty fast, but so does life. Look up once in a while and listen to the world around you. I like your message, Ricardo. Tip of the hat to you, my friend. Scrolling. Enhance. Amy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I miss any or am I up to date? There we go. observer from Sweden. What survival rate do I give you guys? Not much. What are the first signs? Depends which part of the disaster you're talking about, Alex. There's not much in terms of signs when it comes to a super flare. But in terms of the solar micronova, the sun will turn red a couple days before that happens. That'll be a couple days before the planet goes like that. When you see the sun start changing colors, just presume it's over. Just presume it's over. Or if you heard that Taupo in New Zealand or Campi Flegrei in Italy erupted, it's just a couple of days before everything goes to pulse. Was I able to take a peek at the near planetary alignment of 1859 Carrington event? Just curious what that mighty cranium believes. As I've mentioned before, I think it probably had something to do with it. But, you know, the alignments like that happen more regularly than most people believe. They're more like nudges. Sun's got to walk over to the cliff first. Planetary alignment's a little nudge. Do you like that? Somebody make a meme out of that. Lando T, big thanks for all you do. I'm wondering what rivers might do during the disaster and how do I think Southwest Wyoming will do? So every river is going to do something different. Literally every river. Some may get cut off from their sources. Some might flood tremendously. Some might shift. There's just really no guessing. In terms of Southwest Wyoming, in general, not bad. In general, not bad. Just remember all the other advice that comes with those areas. You're going to survive the winters there without power for 10 years. Are you away from populated areas? Are you able to store enough food and water? And do you know what you're doing in nature? Oh, Kara Fawn, you're back for more. All good. Loving the humor. Yes, Mammoth Mules. I have Frisians. I hope I didn't butcher how you say that. Frisians? Ay. Well, this is a different live stream now, isn't it? Look at all the people talking to Kara Fawn, too. You just mentioned that you're a single female, and you're also an observer. You're the new Bitcoin. That's a good one, by the way. Last surviving crew member of the Nostromo signing off. Night, everyone. Sweet dreams. I like that message, too. Sweet dreams to yourself, Ricardo. I'm keeping my inductive cookware. Hi, Baby Yoda. How are you doing? Good to see you, man. Alex S., thank you very much. Richard, I don't know if a jetpack's going to work after this event, brother. Am I worried about the deep state survivors in Denver after the flip? No. I am not. Denver's further away than you think, and I think that they're going to take a pretty big hit there, for real. Plus, they're going to have their hands full with all the hair dye. Don't forget that. Imagine considering all things you notice that we note all children challenges in these upticks. Appreciate the dedication of you. Keep the faith. Christine, yeah, keeping the faith is very important. Hey, Ben, looking for single suspicious observer in the area. Hobbies include prepping and surviving giant FU wave, which Ben calls a sloshback. Yeah. If I was really a money-hungry SOB, I would just create the dating site for single SOs and charge you guys a load of money. I just bleep myself middle of a sentence. But I want no part of that game. Marty, thank you very much, especially for the teal pair. God, I don't know why I like that thing so much, and I'm not going to apologizing. Not going to be apologizing for it. Saddling up Buford now, leaving Wyoming shortly. Right on, Ragtag. Do it. How will Middle Tennessee do? We've been having so much fun. Why are you going to make me bring in the bad news? Not stupendously. Be prepared to float and get away from the big cities. It's the best advice I can give to somebody in Middle Tennessee. What's my survival rate in Houston, Texas? Float away. Float away. Indigo Star, you're from my hometown. How about that? Where in New South Wales, Australia will be safe? Somewhere high and away from the ocean. High and away from the ocean. I don't live in Australia. I haven't studied Australia too in-depthly. Get away from people, get away from the ocean, and get as high as you possibly can. Well, did I just see that? What about the Missouri Ozarks? No. It's not going to escape the wave. The New Madrid Fault is going to shake the bejesus out of that area. And from everybody and their mother on that part of the country thinking, oh, I'm just going to go to the Ozarks, you might as well live in the middle of New York City. Competition is not a good thing. I have no idea what the heck that means. Therefore, I don't have to care. In my opinion, what is the likelihood of the Gulf of Mexico reaching the center of Saskatchewan, Canada? It's possible. It's definitely possible. As well as the sloshback from the Arctic, that is also possible. Middle of Saskatchewan. I don't know if the potential for waves in that area is scarier than surviving winters with no power. But if you are actually in the middle of Saskatchewan, there's a chance that you already know how to do that. It really just depends. You know, for all I know, the Gulf of Mexico will stop somewhere in the Dakotas. For all I know, it will pour into the Great Lakes. For all I know, it'll go all the way up and meet the Arctic sloshback. Stuff like that's just really challenging to understand how those dynamics are going to play out when this entire thing happens. Survival rate in North Carolina. Stop asking about stuff on the East Coast. Stop asking about stuff on the East Coast. The answer is Alex, thank you very much. Game over GIF. Appropriate. Very appropriate. Did I miss one? Yes, I did. Seriously, in Hudson Valley, how big a boat? Thanks for all you do. Just be able to float. Big enough to be able to carry as much as you can. And by the way, there's like so many Hudson Valleys. I don't know if you know that. I have no idea which one you mean, but if it's in a flood zone, just prepare to float. Kisa Robinson, thank you for the teal pear. Oh, is that teal pear blowing a kiss? Foothills, 7,000 feet, Douglas County, Colorado. Not bad. Not bad. 7,000 feet can get pretty cold, though. Observer Ranch is a mile. And our biggest concern is surviving the cold in the wintertime without power. We have plans for that. 7,000 is a different story. If you think you can handle that, I say you're in a good spot there. If the crust unlocks, wouldn't the continents move around? I've heard that a lot, like the supercontinent Pangea. I've been watching the disaster playlist, but still kind of new. It's a fair question. So during none of the last several cycles has there been anything like that. Maybe a bit, but not enough to really change the manifested view of the world, how the world generally looks. There seems to be much more of the land rising and falling, changing views and things like that. But it doesn't appear that during the last cycles we had a lot of that Pangea breakup or coming together like movement? Very fair question. I think the land rising and falling has sort of taken over the last several cycles to be more prevalent. Whispering waves. Okay. All right. I like that one. That's a good one right there. How you doing? Hello again, Ralph. When the sun micronovas, what happens to the sun after that? Does it go into solar minimum? So the sun will be, thankfully, firing super flares on a daily basis in the aftermath and the reorganization on the surface of the sun in the wake of that violent micronova event. And that's going to be a good thing because the micronova is going to induce the cold, puts out a lot of dust, turns the planet like this. The micronova brings the cold. The super flares are what heats us back up and clears the dust from the solar system. So super flaring is what we should expect. But since none of us are going to be dealing with electricity at that point, it's a good thing. It's what's going to bring the world back into a golden age immediately thereafter for everyone who has survived the cosmic Super Bowl. And that is a fantastic question. We should all be thankful Ralph is here. Ralph. Can't wait to meet you and all the other SO peeps in South Carolina. I don't know why, but like when we set up the Blitz tour, I looked at what we had and I was like, SC is going to sell out first. Watch it. Of course it did. Should have seen that coming. What's with the app? No more notifications. Two things. One, the app's been sending me notifications and several other people all day. Update it. Two, it's not my app anymore. It belongs to 9rese.com. 9, the number, rese.com. If you're having trouble, send them an email. But yeah, I've been getting the alerts all day. Does the impact of the galactic wave increase pressure on the heliosphere, increasing heat in the system? No, not really. It's more of a overall magnetic shift. It doesn't create too much pressure on the heliosphere. Maybe merges with it a little bit. We know that there have been some pressure fronts and pressure shocks seen by Voyager, but those don't seem to be detected in the interior of the solar system. They really seem to be more diffused and other things like that. Really, all we see here in the inner solar system is the extra dust, the energetic neutral atoms, and the interstellar pickup ions. Really good question, though, Alex. Well done. Your head's going in the right place. I guess technically the answer would be yes, but it's not very much because those pressure waves aren't seen here in the inner solar system. Survival rate of living in Miami? 0. John Krozik. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Had the pleasure of meeting John not long ago. Good to see you here, buddy. Being super serial here. And he even spelled it like cereal. I feel the same as other SOs. I'm a poor dirtbag and can't go buy land on my own, but with others pooling together, I know of some cheap land on the Divide in Wyoming. Not a bad call. Is the Precambrian geological formation be safe? Is a Precambrian geological formation going to be safe? Maybe. How do you know it wasn't underwater during one of the last cycles and it's just been above water for the last 12,000 years? That one's a maybe. If I knew where this Precambrian geological formation of which you speak was located, I might be able to give you a better answer. But also, there are things that are up here in the world now that have spent 12,000-year cycles completely uninhabitable, and you can go walk around there just fine right now. Just don't know. And especially if I don't know which formation or which part of the world we're talking about. Have I looked into making a pitch from pine tree sap? Super useful material for sea lantern torches. No, but I'm going to do that now, Red. Thank you very much for that tip. Cool idea. You guys are firing these questions really fast. I don't know what the Ouachita Mountains in Arkansas are, but everything in the center of the country should be depressing. Those mountains, if they're in Arkansas, they're not going to handle the wave. If they're in Arkansas, they have a good chance of being shaken to bejesus by the New Madrid Fault when it goes off. I see it as a really terrible crime against humanity that so many people have been told to go to the Ozarks. Even if the waves weren't going to take it out, which they are. Even if the New Madrid Fault wasn't going to shake the bejesus out of them, which it will. Everybody's going there. What's your plan? Might as well go sit in the middle of New York City. You can't go where everybody's going. So many people have already moved there. So many people have specific plans to go there. It's brutal. Ben, in the flood simulation for EU, what water elevation are we talking about? 1,000 to 2,000 meters, so mountains or no? Love from Sweden. So look into the huge blocks of rock that were pushed 2 kilometers up the Alps. I would use that as a marking point. And I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but that was done by a wave. That was not ancient aliens, despite what those people on the History Channel say. That's the best answer I can give you. And that shouldn't be too hard to find. Am I going underground up there? How do I manage 1,000-mile-per-hour winds? There will be no 1,000-mile-per-hour winds. No hair dye. Suspicious silver single wants to know. First of all, silver singles are the best. There will not be 1,000 miles an hour wind. The acceleration of the crust in the pole shift is only going to be 17 miles per hour per minute. The waves in water will get faster than that, but it's all going to be relative. And it's going to be kind of like if you've got something and it goes like that and the other one starts to slip with it. Think of that with the oceans and the wind. Yeah, they're going to be fast, but probably not more than hurricane force. There's not evidence of more than hurricane force in the last ones. And if there was ever 1,000 miles per hour wind, everything would be gone. Literally everything would be gone. We wouldn't be here talking. There'd be no forest, there'd be no fauna. So the physics of everything and how they're moving and how they should accelerate, plus the fact that we are here, tells you they're not quite going to be that bad. But we are going to have underground shelter because you asked. Good question. Silver single. Norin, thank you very much. Big thumbs up to you as well. My goodness, you guys are asking questions really quickly. PJ Graham, thank you for the teal pair. Norin Rad, I hope you're not trying to ask a question because they're not coming through. All disaster playlist and no play make rabbit hole a dull boy. You're very funny, buddy. When are we going to hang out? When are you and Ragtag going to hang out? Ewok Jerky, refined pine sap also makes okay glue for furniture and wood joints. Loving this. This is awesome kind of stuff to get here. I noticed you used the Edgar Casey flood map in the Big Bird video. First of all, I don't do the Big Bird videos. That's Rocky, and he just pulled something off the internet. How accurate do I feel his predictions are? I think mine are better. It's about the best I could say. I haven't seen any of the future maps, whether it's KC, Scallion, any of them, that actually make sense. All the available evidence. They are excellent guesses. And given when those maps were made and the information that was available to them, I think they did fantastic jobs. I don't want to take away from them. It's just that we literally have 50 times the amount of information that we had 10 years ago. That's not an overstatement at all. The Precambrian formation has never been underwater. It's far from the ocean, at least 6,000 feet in height. Location, Angel Falls, Guyana Shield. I still don't know where that is. Am I just supposed to know where the Guyana Shield is? Where's Angel Falls? Fine, I'll go look. Ding dong. You couldn't just tell me what part of the world. I can assure you that has been underwater. I can assure you that has been underwater. It has at least been taken over by a wave once or twice. In this next one, the sloshback's going to get it real good. Real good. That has definitely taken a pounding before. No doubt about it. Why do you think there's so much oil in Venezuela? All the dead things. Yes, there is abiotic oil as well. It's not like the other historical way you make oil isn't real either. There's 2 ways to make oil. How do I plan on interacting with others after the event? Click is how I plan on interacting at first. Will I seek out others or keep to ourselves? We're going to try to avoid as many people as possible. What types of trade items are good after? It depends. Food, water. In theory, bullets would be a fantastic trade item, but you want to keep those to yourself. Salt, sugar, maybe even coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, lumber, tools. So sad you didn't get my Miami joke. Maybe I did or didn't. It's okay. I'm glad Fabor to explain it anyways. Thanks all for the free life-saving info. Did you explain it though, Solomon? I mean, do you mean Miami of Ohio? Because that's not going to be much better. Either way, dude, I can tell you're trying to be cool and your heart's in the right place. Maybe I'm just a little thick. Got a lot of things going on here right now. Appreciate you, Solomon. Tip of the hat to you. Fanboy Slick, for the $1 million bunker, how do we float away on a boat if bolts and nails are going to melt away? Should we look at wooden peg construction? Not a terrible idea. Also, the bunker is not our float away vehicle. Great googly moogly. All right, we're going to try to move fast. Melissa, thank you for the teal pair. Love it. Love it. Stephanie, want to move to Colorado, but won't there be too many people there since everyone wants to be in your neighborhood now? Yeah, apparently it's not so easy to come here. I don't know if you've looked. And there's not going to be a ton of travel. It's not like the Ozarks where like literally everybody already flocked there. It's not so easy to move to Colorado. And then you go to the DMV for the first time and you're like, what the? Nick says the Precambrian Algoma Highlands west, north of Lake Superior. Will the lake, once the slosh settles, regulate climate enough to prevent deadly freeze? So after the tilt, you're going to be near the equator. You won't have to worry about deadly freeze. Your cold concerns there, northwest of Lake Superior, are for potentially a decade or more before the tilt with no power. Afterwards, you guys are going to be in the tropics. Looking at land between Arizona and Colorado, thanks for the massive heads up. Absolutely. Closer to Colorado is better. Am I afraid I'm going to get a flood of people to the ranch when this happens? No. One, you're not going to get very far after this happens. You ever seen people trying to evacuate from a hurricane in Florida? You ever seen a movie about people trying to evacuate a city or evacuate places? There's not going to be very much travel. There's not going to be very much travel. And we are well armed and many. And all my neighbors are just like me. They're horse and cattle farmers who know what's up, and they love their Second Amendment. They also seem to love MAGA gear, which in this situation means they're probably the kind of people who are going to help you protect your shit. Max, thank you very much. You're greatly appreciated. Thomas Holland, hello. Got a question. What about buying a huge cruise ship and just circle the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Even at those depths, large tsunamis aren't a threat. In theory, do you know how much those huge cruise ships cost? At a minimum, 50 to 80 million. For the huge ones, you're talking $500 million. I do not have those sorts of funds. So the movie 2012 is a perfect scenario, with the exception of the fact that, one, it's not neutrinos heating the core. And in the movie 2012, the wave was literally a mile high above everybody. This is going to be a fast-moving high tide. You can float away. Nobody could float away in the movie 2012. The wave was 500 feet above their heads. Being in a boat, it wasn't going to help them at all. This will not be that same thing. Hello again, Ragtag. Jake Paul said he's going to call you out, Ben. Click, click, Jake. It's not going to be this. I know better. It's going to be click, click. Like Jake Paul even knows who the fuck I am. It's funny, though. Logan's a different story. I will slap the... No, that wouldn't be fun for me either. The only way that oil and all the minerals in Venezuela can be explained is Chicxulub, the meteor that hit Mexico and created the Caribbean Sea. My friend, that was no meteor. If you haven't seen our videos on the creator and on the crater creation and central bulge and rock formation through elemental transmutation of the arc discharge, there's no way I could go over all of that right now. But brother, you're missing some very, very key aspects of key science involved in this. Not to mention that doesn't change the fact that it could have been underwater. Absolutely. What's the hardest thing about moving to Colorado? The cost. This place is expensive, and it's gotten twice as expensive since I moved here. If I was living in New Mexico, I don't know if I'd be able to move here right now. Alpine, Texas, 5,000 feet. I mean, like, I've got to presume that's like west Texas. And if it's not going to matter. The run-up's going to go right over it. If so, maybe. Better chance than Florida, put it that way. Why do I call it the new Valley of the Sun? Hello again, Carafon. Because this is one of the few places in the world that's going to end up in a better climatological position based on everything that's happening. Not only is it one of the very few survival zones, but there should just be a little more precipitation and about the same temperature. Now, granted, when I actually first started calling it that, it was more based on what to expect from a purely climate change scenario, in which case it's still the new Valley of the Sun and one place in Mongolia that should be better. But given the total set of the circumstances, there aren't many places in the world that are survivable now, survivable during the event, and survivable in the aftermath. This is one of them. In Pagosa, west of the ranch, you should consider yourself New Valley of the Sun adjacent. Hi, Susie. Always good to see you. Thanks for the teal pair. Love it. How quick to build a house in Colorado? Not much in Wyoming. Depends which part of Colorado. Some counties move faster than others. Some builders move faster than others. Everyone moves faster if you throw more money at them. I can't give you an answer to that. I didn't build a house. I didn't build my house here. I bought one. And I could tell you how long it's taking to build a ranch, but that's not really going to be informative about building a house now, is it? Because it's a lot more in depth. It's a commercial venture. It's not even the same aspects. Why do I look younger this evening? Is that true? Do I look younger? I definitely look younger than I did like 5 years ago. Definitely look younger than I did a decade ago. That's legit. I look younger than I did a decade ago. Did the question about titanium get answered about being in your body if it's bad for you? It is non-electrical and has no magnetism properties. It is conductive. It's not tremendously conductive. The best answer is if it's something small, it's easy to get rid of it without risk. So let's say it's a titanium plate on your femur and there's a serious fracture risk taking it off. Don't take it off. Build your body field. Build your body field. Our bodies have their own little magnetospheres. just like the earth does for the time being. Good diet, good physical health, good mental health, and positive attitudes about everything. Build your body field as best you can. There's a lot of bees in there. Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate you. Two days off sugar, Kantara. Keep going. It gets better. This is your body resetting. Don't go back now. If you've made it 2 days, just keep going. Just keep going. For real. Somebody else says I look younger. I mean, it was leg day at the gym today. I like leg day. I don't know why so many people don't like leg day. Set a new PR on the leg press. Hey, Ben, when will the new Valley of the Sun army conquer all surrounding territories to form an empire that will stand for the next 12,000 years? "777 days after the micronova." 10 points if anybody gets that answer. Kara, the geomagnetic excursions are named after the place where they are first identified, which means what I call the Noah event 6,000 years ago is probably going to end up being named the China event, because from that paper like a week, 2 weeks ago that actually confirmed for the first time that there was a Holocene excursion about that time, it's probably going to take the name of where they discovered it, which is actually in a volcanic flow right on the border of China and North Korea. So it might be called the China DPRK event. I don't know, but they tend to be named after the area where they were first discovered. Good question. Considering the proximity to Bezos and the many underground tunnels purported to run through the area, how do you imagine holding off billionaire zombie troglodytes? I expect that all of the people Bezos has hired to protect him are going to kill him right after the event. What is their incentive not to? It's going to be Bezos, maybe some close friends and family, and a bunch of mercs. What do you think they're going to do when they realize that the world's coming to an end and the paychecks aren't coming anymore, and that they're just useless mouths to feed? Pastor Scott, no, you rock, buddy. Bless you, my friend. Imagine hijacking Bezos' super yacht. Have you guys seen Bezos' super yacht? It's literally the modern day version of the Black Pearl. It's amazing. Talking of metals, what's the likelihood of being able to create electricity after the event has run its course? Oof. You have to get real lucky and then know what you're doing. And I mean like real lucky and then know what you're doing. And don't forget, after the micronova, the only reason the super flares in the wake of the micronova aren't a problem is because we're not using electricity. You wait like a month after the micronova and you're like, all right, now I'm going to put this together. You put it together and it fries because there's super flares going off for weeks, months, maybe years afterwards, turning us back into the golden age. I'm content to wait in a pre-industrial life for a while. Watch the playlist multiple times to absorb it all. I hear it all the time. When you reread the books or rewatch the playlist, you always get something more. Rand Hobbs. If I'm in Florida and get offshore when the sun starts looking like it has a sackcloth on it, do I have a better chance of taking the tsunami from the southeast and the slosh back? You have a better chance offshore than you do anywhere in Florida. There's a good chance that the wave will carry you inland. All you need to remember is you're going to be going in one direction for a long, long, long time, hours and hours. Then the water's going to stop. Then the water's going to start to go the other way. That's when you need to find some land so you don't get swept out into the middle of an ocean. Because that's not good for anybody. I missed a bunch there. Todd Kleckner checking in. How you doing, Todd? It's the new owner of the Disaster Prediction app and owner of the Carrington app, by the way. John Krozek, have I thought about honeybees for pollination on the ranch? Yes, we have. And I'll leave it at that. Yes, we have. Honeybees are a good call. Honeybees are a good call. Thanks for all you do, brother, says Kevin. What's the difference between an EMP and a CME? A CME, if it's big enough, could cause an EMP. A CME stands for coronal mass ejection. That's the particles that get blasted out when there's a solar flare. If a big enough one of those hits the Earth, it could create an electromagnetic pulse EMP that could destroy all of the world's power grids. So an EMP, in the sense we're talking about it, would be an extreme symptom or result from a very powerful CME. Most CMEs aren't powerful enough to do it. Have I investigated a wood gasifier as a fuel source to power motors? No, I have not, but I will now. Thank you very much. Mostly been looking at steam stuff or crank stuff, but thank you for that tip. That is greatly appreciated. Star Seed, fist bump back to you on the teal pair. Yes. Adrian King, thank you very much. You're greatly appreciated. How long have I been doing this? Man, I have no concept of time when we're on a live stream. And I mean no concept of time whatsoever. Diane, oh, that's a very serious gift / meme. Somebody else saying gasifiers rock. Okay, I promise I will look into it. Okay, I promise. Cows are important. Mr. Nobody, I disagree. Also depends on how far away you are. I see people talking about murder hornets. Are they still a thing? They would have taken over the world by now. Starting climbing the stairs in the 7-story parking structure at work. I know it will eventually get easier. Yes, Susie. 1, good idea. 2, even better attitude. Love every bit of that comment right there. It's good to see you, by the way. I appreciate you and all your work, says T. Cole. Without you, I would have never have known what comes next was even possible. Took a long time for me to believe it, to be honest with you. I still wake up every day thinking to myself, maybe today will be the day we get a peer-reviewed paper that convinces me this is not going to happen. No. Check the journals just for the kick in the teeth every day. Alex says, tsunami pods, last-ditch effort, and teaching the unformed because there has always been survivors. Yes. Tsunami pods, I would say that is a last-ditch effort. I would prefer a boat. Those tsunami pods, if I'm not mistaken, are mostly about inflation. And don't forget, it's not just water. It's trees, it's houses, it's rocks, it's all kind of other stuff. A lot of people are going to start floating, and then their flotation is going to be destroyed by the other things floating in the water. But you are right. There are always survivors. Humans are going to survive this again. A huge part of this is luck, and then a huge part of this is not luck as well. Could you imagine being so lucky as to win the cosmic lottery, have fate choose you or God choose to save you, and then you die because you're not prepared? What a middle finger to your Lord or to cosmic fate or whatever it was that saved you. Don't be that guy. Don't be the one who gets lucky and then dies. Seriously. Tip, solo stove, very little smoke, gasified stove. All right. I'm going to look into this stuff. I promise. When do I think the event will happen? I have this urge to tell you to watch the playlist, Love Child. I still think late 2030s to 2040s, with the caveat being that's the reversal of the poles and the solar micronova. When the sun takes out power beforehand, anybody's guess. It could be weeks before the micronova. It could be tomorrow. But the math on the magnetic field is much easier to do. Late 2030s to 2040s. You only get 1 to 6 cups of milk from mammoth donkeys. Donkey milk, huh? Donkey milk. I picture trying to milk a donkey and then getting donkey punched by the donkey. Prefer goats and cows for that. Was that you, Ragtag? Yes, it was. Thanks for the info. If we're not underground when the shift happens, would a lead helmet work for us to keep our mental faculties intact? I don't know. A lead helmet might block cosmic rays. It's also going to attract electric current. So, might get zapped. Get your body as healthy as humanly possible. Your best defense is a healthy body energy field. It's your best defense. The ancients didn't have any of these things. So many of them survived. Healthy body field is your best bet. Gas fire still is a gas burner and needs all the electronics. I don't think they meant like natural gas, but like I said, Mark, I'll look into it. I'll keep in mind your comment as well. Thank you for that. Kentara Bella, how would this impact Africa? Unfortunately, Africa is due to get the flash. Not good news. Even though there are only peripheral wave directions to Africa, its low-lying nature will cause a lot of it to flood. It's going to be rough. A large portion of it's going to be at high latitude, a lot more than just South Africa, like is the case now. And it's very populated. It's already kind of brutal in a lot of parts of Africa, and everything's going to get worse. Observer from South... Oh, look at that. Right up next. Observer from South Africa. Looking into building myself a survival bus. Can build it so it can float away and use steam motor with a lead roof. Okay. If you make any progress on that, please keep us informed. Would love to see pictures, know how it's going. That'd make a heck of a YouTube channel, buddy. That would make a heck of a YouTube channel. My goodness, I missed so many questions. Here we go. Any predictions about what happens around Stockholm, Sweden? Any big city is absolutely toast. If you can get far enough away from Stockholm, there's still a chance that the sloshback, the Arctic Ocean, is going to come roaring over you. If you get high enough for that not to be the case, just make sure you can survive at least 10 winters there with no electricity. How you feel about Stockholm? How you feel about Sweden? Get out of a big city, get high enough to avoid the waves, and make sure that wherever you are, you can survive 10 years, summer, winter, whatever, without electricity. Puts things into perspective, doesn't it? Just saying, thanks, Ben, for your hard work, says Norin. From all those listening in this woke world, no one is listening, just staying numb. Facts combined with a good heart is mighty powerful. Shalom right back at you. Much better to be awake than to be woke. They stole our word, twisted it, and used it for something else. Those clowns. Awake, not woke. I would get 2 quarts of milk from my milk goat twice a day. Thanks for the confirmation on that, Susie. Goats. Use your mammoth donkeys for something else. Underground during the disaster, ? Says Rabbit Hole. Hello again. I'm not even going to wear pants. Be the Chad who rocks the 12,000-year disaster with your pork and beans blowing in the winds. I just shouldn't read your anymore, Rabbit Hole. But I'm going to, because that's the deal. Because you super chatted it, so I'm going to read it. That's one way to go about it, bro. That's one way to go about it. I do not prepare because this is a dismal event where survival is futile. Incorrect, Stump Knocker. I prepare because I know I can survive and I can help others do the same too. Oh. You sandbagging. Yeah, okay. You sandbag me with your first sentence. You sandbag me. And you got me. Yes, you can survive. And yes, you can help others. All right, 10 points, Stump Knocker. I don't get one put over on me very often. Seriously, well done. When the Earth begins its tilt, will the friction between the Earth and atmosphere cause super lightning? Yup. But there will be super lightning, but not because of that friction. It'll be because of all the energy coming in from the micronova, from the cosmic rays, from losing Earth's magnetic field. There will be super lightning. It will not just be basic winds. It'd be nice if we could look outside at the breeze and just be like, you're basic. But no, that's not how it's going to work. There will be super lightning. After the micronova, hello again, Ralph. Do we expect different animals or insects up your way? Yeah, maybe some, but I mean, they can only get so far. So, you know, I mean, are things only indigenous to Mexico going to wind up near the Hudson Bay? No. Could they end up throughout the United States, especially the Western United States? Sure. Canadian geese will be everywhere. They already are. They will take over the world. Insects might do a little better, but that's going to be like a multi-year type of thing. They can only get so far in a year. Good question, though. Other than the Hopi Indians, do you know of any other tribes that talked about past flips? Yes. Yes. Aboriginals in Australia. The Indian texts from India, not necessarily what we call Indians in this country, but the people from India, they describe 5 of them. Not to mention that it's described in the Bible, the Quran, pagan works. It's described all over, Spence. You must ask the right questions. Hey, Ben, Dwayne from the Frontiersman. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? Great to see you doing these live streams. Would love to have you back to do a talk with our group again. Absolutely. I promise the questions will be better this time. They weren't so bad, man. Got to meet the Frontiersman years ago. In West Virginia? Is that where that was? Forgive me if that wasn't it, but I think that's where it was. It was a fun time. What's all those boxes? This is where I live. These are our records, like stuff for my kids, stuff for their school, stuff for taxes and other things like that. Just regular stuff. It's not where I keep my preps, trust me. I'm 150 miles north of Toronto, Canada, 1,000 feet above sea level, living in the country. Are we screwed? Where will it be warm? Mexico. No, if you get through the shift, it will be very warm where you are. The problem is getting through the shift where you are. Let's suppose 150 miles north of Toronto. You're far enough away from people. What I know about Ontario, I doubt it. Let's just say that you are definitely going to be able to avoid the inertial waves, the Great Lakes sloshing, the slosh back from the Hudson Bay in the Arctic Ocean, which I doubt. Can you live there for 10 years with no electricity and not die in the wintertime? That's your main question, love child. It's your main question. It's going to be warm in Mexico until the flip, and then Mexico is going to be quite cold, I assure you. Kind of like living 150 miles north of Toronto right now. William, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Von Donks, don't eat processed foods. No milk beyond infancy. Don't eat processed foods, but I got to say, when I drink a nice glass of raw, unprocessed A2 milk, feels like life. Feels like life. For real. But your comment reminds me of that scene from Snatch. Human digestive system ain't evolved to take milk yet. Meow, Tom, what have you been reading? Fat Tom, hello, and thank you. Appreciate it. How long do I suspect the waves will last? The worst ones are going to come and go. The oceans won't settle down for probably 5 to 7 days, but those won't be as bad as the initial ones, unless there's a major rise or drop in landfall, in which case, yeah, maybe they could be as bad. But I wouldn't just presume that you could, if you're floating away, don't float back out too far, because when you get back on land, even if you manage to do so, there could be another wave coming. Fair question. Grizzly bear herd swarming the ranch. Oh, I don't think grizzly bears travel in herds, buddy. But that's what guns are for. Ken K. Clap right back to you, buddy. Mindy, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. How does Uzbekistan look for avoiding the water surges? You're going to make me look this up, aren't you? The slosh back of the Indian Ocean might come there. The slosh back of the Indian Ocean might come there. But I mean, you're in a better position than the Indian subcontinent. You're in a much better position than Pakistan and Iran. That's for sure. I think you have different concerns in Uzbekistan. Like, don't live in the big cities. And can you survive your winter there for maybe 10 years with no power? Lisa, thank you for the teal pear, who is bowing to me. Bow to me, teal pear. I can ask an animated GIF to bow to me. Come on. The Carafon, man, it's good to see you back here still. You love milk too? Warm, cold, you don't care, fresh, raw. I love the raw A2. I can't believe I found a farmer where you can buy milk shares of raw A2. Pick it up every week at the drop location. Larissa B, watch the playlist. It's listed right below the video in the description box. Cole says, for the Christians, take the Bible at its word. God already gave us the rainbow as his promise not to destroy the world with water again. Cole, I went over this already. I am a believer. I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I also am not so egotistical about it that I don't think that evil humans along the way have tried to change the Bible, have mistranslated it, have taken books out, like the Book of Enoch and several other ones. The faith can withstand that truth. It doesn't have to destroy your faith. One of the things they used to do was talk about our world, the world. It meant their part of the world. And that part of the world will not be flooded this time. They get the fire. They get the flash. Just like the book says. Just like the physics and the geophysics and the paleoclimatology says, when you look back at all the events ticking around the world like this. How about that? The part of the world due to take the flash next time is the part that the Bible says will get the fire this time. It's just that they didn't mean the whole earth. They meant their part of the world. I know some people didn't like that conversation. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. As much as I love people of the same faith as me, if you are too damn stubborn to realize they took books out, they saw the power of the religion and tried to twist it and change it in order to control all of us. If you think there's no chance they mistranslated anything across that many religions in a 2,000-year game of telephone, you and I are not the same. What are my thoughts about Earth's tilt changes from the intense quakes? Did it change during past events? The only two quakes in recent history where it changed was in 2010, the 8.8 in Chile dinged us 2.2 degrees. And then a year later, the 2011 Japan Fukushima event brought us 1.5 degrees back. Other than that, we have not been tilting very much at all. Fair question, though. Jesus mentioned the end of an age. Facts. Yes, he did. Which country has the oldest record of their history? India. It would be the Aboriginals, but it's kind of hard to piece that together. It's not as easily discernible, and they keep a lot of that secret. I would assume that the pole shift didn't affect them that much. Which countries are they? Oh, people in India that got to the Himalayas and then came back down to the subcontinent. Yeah. Back in the day, you could walk from Australia to Tasmania, from Australia to New Zealand, from New Zealand to Fiji, from Fiji to Papua, and back to Australia. That land has been sinking. It used to be a much more vast empire. So they did better against the sloshes and the tsunamis back then. Okay, hit that one, hit that one. How would you protect a few spools of copper wire? I don't know that I would try. Plastic. Plastic, plastic, plastic. Tell a pagan Viking Ragnarok isn't real. No, don't do that. Not if you value yourself. If you value your teeth, things like that. If you value your prettiness, don't do that. Kids are getting loud again. Okay, wait, Giants were supposedly the first. Were supposedly the target. The first go-around, North America got the blast. The Smithsonian has the evidence. Also, so aliens. North America took the shell impact last time. Asia got the flash. This coming time, Africa will get the flash, and parts of the Middle East and parts of Europe, and the shell impact will hit the Pacific. And yes, the Giants are the ones who built the Texas rock wall, which I have several videos about. Nobody else could have built the Texas rock wall but the Giants, and it didn't really work for them. Adrian King, thank you very much. Jordan Peterson, humanist, alternative to the World Economic Forum, Climate Change Reality. Hope you will be there October 31 through November 1 in London. Really should be. Wasn't invited. Don't leave the country. Sorry, I don't leave the country. Not anymore. But yeah, this humanist alternative to the World Economic Forum seems better than the World Economic Forum. I'm still slightly suspicious of it, though. Wes, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. 16 likes. Come on, SO Army, we can do better. Are you guys serious? There's only 16 likes on this video. The people who aren't liking are the ones who are like, Ben, why don't you have more subscribers? It's all right. Imagine how hard this would be if there was 50,000 of you on here right now. Gino, yeah, I went to Fox Chapel. When the crust unlocks, could the rise and fall of land masses be triggered to some degree? Yes, by the crust moving over the irregularly shaped core and mantle. Yes, but it's also going to be impacted by mantle heaving under the electric current that's being sent through it. Land will fall because water has gone over it and is creating isostatic pressure. Isostatic readjustment is still a thing. Lots of things are going to be affecting the rise and fall of land. Good question, though, buddy. What are my thoughts on chemtrails on weather in general and how clearly they track with the sun with them, especially at sunrise, sunset? That's about your perspective. I'm going to say this because this is a very long and expansive topic. One, geoengineering weather modification is very real. It is a real thing. Two, 99% of the pictures, videos, and people looking up in the sky who think they're looking at chemtrails are not looking at chemtrails. Are you looking for lasting white lines or soupy skies? No. No. You might be looking at cloud seeding, but not chemtrailing. If you can see the airplane, it's not chemtrailing. You can't do that anywhere but the stratosphere. What they do down here where you can see the plane is mostly just spraying water vapor. I don't think it's a good idea for them to do it. They shouldn't be playing God in the sky. But also, when you compare spraying water vapor out to enhance clouds or drop rain or reduce hail or move hail around, it's a little different than aluminum oxides up at the top of the sky. When it comes to the aluminum oxide and barium stuff they're spraying, those are oxides. They are trying to stop the cosmic rays from getting in. They like being at the top of the pyramid. They don't think they're fully prepared yet, and they want to keep this game going, keep us here and them up here for as long as humanly possible until they can't do it anymore. Do we indirectly benefit from that? Yes. Are they doing it for us? No. Do they know that they are spraying themselves and their children because these things have a 2-year loft life? Yes. By comparison, it's nothing compared to how bad it would be. The world would already be over. Put it that way. The world would already be over. That's about as much as I can do on chemtrails in just a few minutes. And by the way, when I said basically this exact same thing and much, much more at the 2015 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, I got a big standing clap from Michael Murphy, the man who made What in the World Are They Spraying? Why in the World Are They Spraying? He knows what he's talking about. So do I. I'm very good at this. Take what I said to heart and stop being freaked out about chemtrails. How will New Zealand fare? Would it be better to live in the South Island or move to inland Australia? I would probably say Australia is going to do better. Even if you could get high enough in New Zealand to avoid it, I think Taupo's going off. And that's going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal. I've had saltwater intrusion in 3 of my ponds in Kentucky. All fish die off when pond is so salty, eggs and small rocks float. What's your opinion? On what? First of all, how's saltwater getting to Kentucky? Is it coming from underneath? You got salt domes underneath you? That'd be the only way I know how to do it. Is that the opinion you're asking? Is like, how did that happen? It wasn't the ocean, I promise that. And also, the ocean isn't that saline to actually do that. Make small rocks and salt and eggs float. That would have to be super amounts of salt from like a salt dome and water coming up from below or something like that. Hey, Ben, is the link for $125 still up for one-on-one talk to you? Yes, but it's not under this video. Go check one of the morning news. I didn't put the link in this video. We still do have a couple of spots left in February. This morning's news, it's in the description box below that video. Yes, that is up. You could also do it at suspiciousobservers.org. There is a link to that there. Goodness me. There's a lot of questions here. We're going to have to do this quickly. The popes that tried to twist the Bible were unable to. Otherwise, they would remove the parts about the Catholic Church being satanic. But why is that in there? And yes, they were able to remove lots of books and twist many things. You just hear about the ones that sucked at it. The ones who were really good at it, you don't hear about them as much. Do you have a regular picture of what the new world and where the new equator will be? I see it in the video in the playlist. Yeah, it is in the playlist. In fact, it's in the very first video of the Earth Disaster playlist. It's also in the books, by the way. Those things exist. Muddy Creek, appreciate the teal pair. Love it. The Bible is history, so like the playlist, only the survivors will remember. Hope we do better next time. Me too, Alex. Me too. Joseph says, call me crazy. Okay, crazy. But I think the sun is a living being with free agency, which is why it is so unpredictable. I would love to like science you into saying no. I just have no evidence to be able to debunk what you just said. It's very possible. Hard to tell without a simulator, but how do you feel the lowering of the land at the current equator and the raising of land throughout the Atlantic will affect Europe and the eastern U.S. fan since 2012? That's really challenging. I don't think it's going to help with the Atlantic's attack on the U.S. and Europe, put it that way. Do I think that there may be parts of the Atlantic that rise up? Yeah. But where? North, south, central, east, west? Hard to know. So many of these things are really challenging. Suspicious one, heck of a name. The Kootenay region of the Rockies. What are the odds of survival during the event? All right, now I got to look that up. Oh, national park up in Canada. Yeah, absolutely. Not bad. Just be able to survive those winters. Just be able to survive those winters without power. If you do, waves aren't going to get you. The volcanoes from the West Coast might make it a little hard to breathe at some points, but in general, not bad at all. And if you can survive everything, you're going to be in the tropics afterwards. So, boom. I love where the guys are finding the whole Stone Age spears with the wood as the glaciers melt away in Canada, and then they saw how horrible climate change is. That was open grassland for the artifacts. Yeah. I saw bits and pieces of that, but I haven't dug into it deeply. Is the Q saying nothing can stop what is coming referring to this event? Is the Q saying, I don't know, what is the Q? If you're talking about like Q, like the mysterious individual, I have no idea. I didn't follow Q. I have no idea what Q said or didn't say. But no, nothing can stop what is coming. So maybe he was talking about this, maybe he wasn't. I have no idea. Disaster Diva, Colorado. Hello, Disaster Diva. Are you my neighbor? Playlist is awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. If there were survivors from the last catastrophe, shouldn't there be some myth of the planet shifting, sun rising in a different spot? Yeah, those stories come from all over the world. Daniel, you haven't read the books or watched the playlist, I see. They come from all over the world. August Dunning, formerly of NASA, formerly of JPL, formerly of Caltech, helped me put together that for even a special video in the initial playlist. But all that is in the book. Yes, those stories come from all over the world, buddy. And they're told by the rock as well and the fossils. Was the micronova what caused the Carolina Bays? I don't know. It's possible. Also possible mantle heaving caused them. It's possible that a piece of the micronova hitting the north and actually blasting ice chunks down could have caused the Carolina Bays. I think there's the people who talk about the Carolina Bays do so with more certainty than I would talk about given that information. I would like to say, here's option A, B, C, and D. Susie says, stop buying your chicken feed.